Hi, I'm Nia and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing 1-sentence reviews of all the books I read in 2025. This will include some light spoilers. I'll be using a 5-star rating system, so let me break that down for you first. When rating, there are 4 categories I keep in mind. And this is the rating system I'll be using in all my reading journal videos going forward in 2026. And also, just a disclaimer, these are my opinions. Everyone has different tastes in terms of likes and dislikes. Art is subjective, and sometimes my reasons for rating a book the way I do might seem contradictory at times, but I'm not comparing one work to another, I'm rating them individually. So the categories I take into consideration are writing style, overall plot, characters and development, and general enjoyability. Star rating. 5 stars means I absolutely loved everything about it, even its flaws, and I will defend this book until the end of time. It exceeds expectations and it's just amazing. 4 stars means it was excellent and I really like it. It's narratively strong across all my categories. 3 stars means that it was good, I liked it, I enjoyed it. It's not a favorite, but it wasn't bad and I might still recommend it to others. 2 stars means it was okay, but seriously lacking in some regards. Maybe it had potential with an interesting concept or characters, but the execution was bad. 1 star means I hated it and there wasn't anything even remotely interesting about it. I also probably didn't finish it, or I finished it. So right now I am going to be organizing all of my books. I'm gonna pull them from my shelves, dump them on my bed, and reorganize them. Every year I like to reorganize all of my books. Last year I organized them by genre, which boring, regular, whatever. This year I'm gonna organize them by color. Again, another like regular choice, but I've never done that before. So I've got like 2 medium-sized bookshelves. One of them you see in the background of a lot of my vlogs. That's like my medium one. I have like 2 that are kind of that similar. That one's full, the other one is not full. And then I have 2 like little skinny, like one cubicle, whatever. I have 2 littler, smaller bookshelves. Am I a writer? Littler? Whatever. I'm gonna dump them all on my bed, like I said before, and I'm gonna organize them by color. So that'll be a fun change to my background. I also have another little reading nook area that I've got set up. So that'll be another background you'll be seeing in videos this year. So let's get into me organizing my space. Don't look at my laundry. I don't know if it's in the shot, but don't look at it, okay? Okay. Reading stats. Now on to some stats about my reading from 2025. According to my Fable tracker, I finished 30 books in 2025. My top genres were fantasy and YA, followed by literary fiction and historical fiction, all with romance subplots, almost all. And according to my Storygraph stats, the overall mood of my books was emotional and adventurous. About 70% of the books were medium paced, within the 300 to 400 page range. Of the 30 books I completed, 16 of them I listened to as audiobooks. 4 of them I switched back and forth between audiobook and ebook versions, and 10 books I had the physical copy of and I switched back and forth between the physical copy and an audiobook version. Out of the 30 books, I bought 7 of the audiobooks and 9 of the physical books. Everything else I got from the library, and any of the ebook or audiobook versions that I got of things I already owned, I got from the library as well. Most of the physical books that I got were from my Book of the Month subscription, either in 2025 or from previous years. My goal for 2025 was to read books that I already owned so that I could gift through my TBR. That did not happen, but I did read some books I already had, so kind of successful. But anyways, let's get into my 1-sentence reviews. First up is fantasy. Okay, so I have pulled out a bunch of books. I don't know. I think I'm gonna, because For the most part, the spine is what you're gonna see. So I think that's what I'm gonna organize them by, even if the cover of the book is a different color. Because it looks like red and blue are like really popular color palettes for books. So I have a bunch of like red, orange, pink like tones, and then like a lot of like blue or like blue and red. But then the spine, some of them are just like black or blue or like a different color that's not on the not all of them. But I think it's gonna help me simplify it because a lot of the covers of these books are very colorful. Originally I was just gonna pick whatever the dominant color is and organize it like that, but some of them are they have a lot going on. So I'm gonna go by the spines. So I'm gonna turn all of these over to the sides now. I haven't even pulled all of them out yet. This is just like a couple and my bed's already covered. So yeah, I'm just updating you on my process here. A Game of Retribution and A Game of Gods by Scarlett St. Clair. These are the second and third books in the Hades saga and the fourth and sixth books in the complete Hades and Persephone saga. I gave both books 3.5 stars. I usually hesitate to read books of the same story told from another character's POV. It's usually boring, especially if the characters spend a lot of time together. You already know what happens. However, this companion series is its own story, and I really enjoyed how it expands the universe and introduces a wider cast of characters. It makes the scope of the narrative feel more epic, and I'm really excited to read the final book. Daughters of Inri, The Return of the Earth Mother, Book 1 by Rini K. Amayo. 3.5 stars. Bookended with a lot of action, the story takes its time to let these characters grow and train. The lore of all the gods and goddesses is interesting, and I hope there's more of it in the subsequent books. I really enjoyed it, but my biggest issue was the ending and how relatively easy this immortal, magical, terrifying ruler was defeated by the sisters at the end. The Awakening, The Vampire Diaries Book 1 by L.J. Smith. 2.5 stars. I watched The Vampire Diaries and all the spin-offs, and so I wanted to check out the books. I enjoyed reading it, but I do prefer most of the changes the show made regarding to how the Salvatore's and Catherine's backstories connect them to Mystic Falls, aka Thel's Church. As Old as Time, A Twisted Tale by Liz Braswell. 3.5 stars. I love fairy tale retellings, and this one was so well done, and it did a good job of explaining difficult concepts in a way middle grade readers could conceptualize and relate to current events. Conceptualize. One Dark Throne, Three Dark Crowns Book 2 by Kendare Blake. 3 stars. An interesting series that keeps me on my toes. I never know what to expect, and there is a lot going on. The Shadow Beast Shifter series by Jay Maneve. 3.5 stars, 4 stars, 3.5 stars. This series created such nostalgia for the books that teenage Nia used to read, but with an adult element. It was a fun read, and I was interested to see what other stories the author creates in this universe, but some of the conflicts towards the end of the series felt like plot padding. Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Gerber. 4 stars all across. I love the couple in this series and all the fairy tale influences. Definitely my favorite romance of 2025. Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. 4 stars. Of course, I'd seen this movie a million times. It came out the year that I was born, and it's like a seasonal fall time favorite. I've wanted to read the book for forever. I really love the narrative style and how the author was able to connect the reader to the ensemble of characters. The Rose Bargain by Sasha Payton Smith. 4 stars. I loved this fusion of like Bridgerton and The Selection and how it plays with the reader's expectations of fairy magic. Okay, so instead of pulling all of my books out, I just kind of jumped into this task. I was like, I'm gonna do this today, and I didn't like plan it out a whole bunch. But I'm gonna focus on the spines and just doing one color at a time, grouping those together, and then moving on to the next color instead of pulling everything out and then organizing afterwards. So yeah, we're gonna try that. And I need to move some of these out of the way.
Science fantasy. The Blood Trials. The Blood Gift Duology, Book 1 by N.E. Davenport. 4.5 stars. I was also watching season 2 of Gen V while reading this book, and I find blood magic so fascinating. I love the way the author was able to pack a lot of world building and lore about the magic system and the politics in really interesting ways that kept the narrative fast paced. Super interesting. I loved it. And her name is Nia. Iron Widow Book 1 by Ziran J. Zhao, 4 stars. I really like this brash, unapologetic, and impulsive main character. There's a lot of action and monster fights, and it blends this science fiction and fantasy elements really well. I also enjoyed the more sweet moments of the developing romance between the main throuple.
Okay, so I've had an idea. I don't know how I feel about it yet. But the majority of my books are hardback and they have the little slips over them because I have a book of the month subscription, so I'll get like 1 or 2 books every month, and I've had this subscription for like 3 years or whatever, so I got almost all my books are hardback because of that. And so I was like, what if I took, hold on, let me get my book. Okay, so here's a book that I just finished, and you can see it has the little slip on it. Ugh. But if I take it off, all of the spines are just like solid color. And I kind of like that aesthetic of like just the bare book with no thing, and I can take all the little slip covers and put them away somewhere, but then I don't want this part to crease. And then what if I hate it and then I have to put all the slip covers back on the books? You know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take them all off and I'm gonna reorganize my stack. I've got so much of the stack already organized, but I guess we're gonna start over again and I'll do it that way. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Okay.
Science fiction. The Ballad of Songbirds and Songbirds. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. The Ballad of why can't I say this word? The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, a Hunger Games prequel by Suzanne Collins, 4 stars. A great example of a corruption arc. I loved being in Snow's head and seeing his true thoughts and feelings, and how he was able to sharpen his skills of manipulation, having no pride about taking on whatever role he needed to in order to get what he wanted. How to Live Safely in a Science Fictional Universe by Charlie Yu, 3 stars. An interesting and humorous story about a time-traveling man trying to reconnect with his father. Historical fiction. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, 4 stars. I love the yearning. I want more of it in modern books. I also watched the movie and the miniseries after finishing the book. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, 3 stars. I like the character of Evelyn Hugo and her evolution over the course of the story, but I didn't really care about Monique and the plot twist that happened with her at the end. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, 4 stars. I love a great ensemble narrative, and Taylor Jenkins Reid really reignited my interest in historical fiction. This is one of my favorite books of 2025. The Other Princess by Denny S. Bryce, 4 stars. Princess Ina, aka Sarah Forbes Bonetta, is such an intelligent and interesting character. She might be my favorite character of 2025, especially getting to follow her throughout this retelling of her life. I definitely recommend. Literary and contemporary fiction. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin, 4.5 stars. My first and favorite read of 2025. I am still not emotionally recovered a year later. Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan, 2.5 stars. Standard romance with a happily ever after, a fun plot with the female main character, though the love interest was kind of mediocre. I Hope This Finds You Well by Natalie Sue, 3 stars. The tone initially surprised me. I was expecting a lighthearted comedy, but this borderline dark comedy with a hopeful ending I really enjoyed. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter, 3 stars. I love a fun, cozy, mosey, I love a fun, cozy murder mystery, especially a clue-style one, and this one was a romance with a happy ending. And it was Christmas themed. Nonfiction. A Radical Guide for Women with ADHD by Sari Solden and Michelle Frank, and ADHD for Smartass Women by Tracy Otsuka, 4 stars and 3.5 stars respectively. Both of these books were really informative introductions on how ADHD can present in adult women, the symptoms and the effects it can have on daily life, as well as listing plenty of resources and tips to try out. Unlikable Female Characters by Anna B. I do not know how to pronounce your last name. I'm so sorry. It will be on the screen. 3 stars. It made me want to explore more of these archetypes of unlikable female characters in my own writing. A Generation of Sociopaths by Bruce Cannon Gibney, 3.5 stars. A really interesting investigation into the boomer generation's political patterns and the reasons behind why they may have shaped the country into what it is today. Okay. I've organized all the books. Now it's time to put them on my shelves. I did not touch the paperbacks. But yeah, that was like a lot. Like I'm sweating just from what? Also, I have on this onesie, which isn't helping, but the fan is on, but it's hot outside, even though it's January. I think I'll have something to eat first. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna eat something, play some Dreamlight Valley, and then I'll come back and restock the shelves. DNF list. My did not finish list. There's a bunch of reasons why I don't finish a book, so here are some books I started and why I didn't finish them, and if I plan to. This is not a complete list. There's a bunch of others I did not finish. Heavenly Tyrant, Iron Widow Book 2 by Zirin J. Zhao. I tried reading it right after the first one, which is something I don't usually do with series because too much of the same makes me bored. And on top of that, my library loan expired, so I'll try again later. How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying by Django Wexier. Only made it in a few chapters. The humor was not for me. The Struggle, The Vampire Diaries Book 2 by L.J. Smith. I got bored. I might try it again. Cold Hearted by Serena Valentino. It was interesting, but I kept losing my focus and eventually my library loan ended. I might try to read it again at some point. The Duke I Tempted by Scarlett Peckham. I was interested, but then I started reading the Blood Trials and I completely got into that and forgot about this, so I might try it again. We'll see. His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. I was interested, but my focus was not good. It was giving like Pirates of the Caribbean with dragons, so it's something I'll probably try again later. Wayward by Amelia Hart. I was really into this, but again, my focus got off and I struggled to continue, but I definitely will at some point because I was really liking it. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is a book series of books that's really long, so I've been reading it off and on for the past year, but I stopped after the show was canceled because I was sad. But I will keep reading it. The Fortunes of Jaded Women by Carolyn Hunn. I was loving this book. There's a really funny scene at the beginning with like an orange fight. Anyways, I will definitely be trying. I would definitely finish reading this. I just had trouble focusing and I couldn't get through it. Nothing wrong with the book. Paradise by Toni Morrison. This book took me longer to read than I anticipated. Due to my previously mentioned focusing issues, my reading speed is really inconsistent, and then my library loan ended before I finished it. And since Toni Morrison is such a popular author, the wait to check out the ebook or the audiobook was like months long, so I'm just waiting. The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. My reading buddy and I were unable to contain our anger and sadness at the child neglect and abuse that was going on, so we had to let it go. ADHD is Awesome by Penn Holderness. This was the third book about ADHD that I read in a row, and it was more generalized information than the previous ones, and it felt more geared towards middle grades and teens, so I just stopped. The Devil in the White City by Erik Larson. I was buddy reading this one with someone, and they weren't super into it, so we switched to another book, but I definitely plan to finish it at some point, especially now that they're making it into like a movie or a series. Let me know if you read any of these books and if you're adding them to your TBR. If you like this video, you can check out some of my older reading journal videos, as well as my writing vlogs and my bullet journal videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day, night, evening, noon, whenever you're watching this. Bye!